This is a resource room, and basically what we do here is we service like all number of different learning needs in students, right? So we have students that have academic needs, we have students that have organizational needs, we have students that have social needs. Sometimes it's a combination of those things, right? And right now we've come a long way. We used to have a much smaller classroom, which was very bad for physical mobility, right? Now we have this bigger classroom, we've got some seating, but we still have to use these really hard desks that are attached to the chairs, these hard chairs. It's not very good for students with physical limitations. It's not very good for students that need some give. There's all this research that shows students with ADHD, students with autism that struggle to focus are going to focus better if they have a little bit of give in their seating, and we don't have that option right now. We have a lot of these hard chairs. So what we're trying to do is 3 different types of seating. We're going to have regular chairs that are not metal, so they're more comfortable, but they have the back if they need it physically, and they can move away from the desk if they need to. And then kind of the in-between chair that's a cantilever chair that has a little more movement, so if they need that movement, they can have it, but they still have the back if they need it physically. And then the third type is an actual ball chair. So the goal is to give all of these options to students so that they can work with this type of seating that works best for their learning needs and their focus. Thank you so much for your consideration.
I get roughly 150 students that come in each semester that utilize the equipment in the labs. So this year for the grant, I wrote one for 2 new refrigerators. You can see these are kind of outdated and there's some marks on them, and the inside doesn't quite hold up like it used to. And so I did 2 refrigerators, and in the back of the classroom we have a freezer. So I wrote one of those in there. Each of our kitchens that we have set up, I have KitchenAids, and the KitchenAid attachments are starting to fall apart. So 5 new KitchenAid mixers, as well as blender systems that can help enhance the labs in any ways. They can be food processors, they can make cookie dough, they can make shakes, protein shakes, anything that can enhance our labs. Your contribution to this grant will help serve 150 students each semester that step foot in these cooking labs.
So we started the writing lab here at Notre Dame a few years ago. Because of the finite parameters of the class period, it's not always feasible for students to meet with a teacher within class. And then after school, kids are busy, they've got extracurriculars, carpool, those kinds of things. So having a writing lab operating during the school day, especially during the lunch hours, gives them the greatest opportunity to see that teacher. Mrs. Welker was a former teacher here. She retired. She was the composition guru, as you know, so she taught dual credit here. And so we hired her back as a way to have a lab setting within the library, just a one-on-one. She is here 2 days a week during the lunch hours. We are asking to fund the 2 days a week. All students in all classes need good writing skills, and so this is something that is across the board and will benefit all of our students.
Thank you so much for the donations last year. As you can see, we were able to put the tanks together, but now we really need the fish to put in the tanks so that these tanks can look really, really awesome. Behind me is the saltwater tank, and this is going to be where most of the expense is going to go. Saltwater fish are very expensive, and so are corals, but it really will be an awesome statement piece. We do need a few extra things for the saltwater tank. We need a little bit more filtration to sustain the fish because they do need some very, very clean water. For the freshwater tank, we will also need to buy some plants. We also do need to buy some new lights as well. These tanks are really a focal point of the school. They are right in the center of the school across from the chapel. And these new tanks provide the students with opportunities to study many different ecosystems, as well as allow us to do much more scientific research with them because they are a much more stable environment than the old tanks.